Root race. The idea of root races is a key part of esoteric anthropogenesis, especially in theosophy. The idea is that human evolution happens in 7 main stages or root races, each one representing a step in our physical and spiritual development. Each of these races is linked to a specific continent and has its own distinctive characteristics. It's thought that this progression reflects humanity's spiritual awakening and mastery over matter. The 7 races are usually described as follows: Polarian, Ethereal, Hyperborean, Semi-Ethereal, Lemurian, first physical humans, Atlantean, advanced civilization, Aryan, current race, and 2 future races. Each root race is made up of 7 sub-races, creating a complex evolutionary hierarchy. Theosophists believe that there are long periods between transitions between races. With some overlap, the theory suggests that as humanity progresses, people become more individualized and develop higher mental and spiritual faculties. This concept has influenced various esoteric and New Age movements, but it is considered pseudoscience by academic and scientific communities, as it conflicts with evidence-based understandings of human evolution. Despite lacking scientific support, it remains significant in esoteric philosophy as a framework for understanding human development from a spiritual perspective. Esoteric Buddhism. A.P. Sennett's 1883 book, Esoteric Buddhism, is a key text in theosophy. It introduced Western readers to some pretty complex esoteric concepts. The book is based on teachings Sennett said he received from spiritual masters via Helena Blavatsky. It outlines a comprehensive system of spiritual evolution and cosmology. It introduces ideas like the septenary nature of the universe and humans, karma, reincarnation, and a spiritual hierarchy that guides human development. The text goes into more detail about root races, describing how humanity has progressed through different stages of evolution, and discusses lost continents like Lamuria and Atlantis. Even though it's called Esoteric Buddhism, the book actually blends Hindu, Buddhist, and Western esoteric concepts rather than sticking strictly to Buddhism. Esoteric Buddhism had a big impact on later theosophical books and on wider esoteric thinking, influencing lots of New Age and spiritual movements. However, there isn't any mainstream science or academic Buddhist studies that backs up its claims. The book is still a key text in esoteric philosophy, influencing alternative views on human evolution and cosmic processes. Lamuria. Lamuria, which is a hypothetical lost continent, is a key element in esoteric anthropogenesis and theosophy. It was first suggested by zoologist Philip Sclater to explain where lemur fossils are found, and was then taken up by occult writers like Helena Blavatsky. In theosophical teachings, Lemuria is described as the home of the third root race, which came before Atlantis and existed in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. The Lemurians are said to have started out as semi-ethereal beings, evolving into physical form. They are thought to have been giant hermaphroditic creatures with strong spiritual connections, but limited mental capacities. Theosophists say that over time they developed separate sexes and more human-like features. It is thought that Lemuria was destroyed by natural disasters, with some of the inhabitants surviving to become the ancestors of modern races. Some traditions also connect Lemuria to the mythical land of Mu or ancient civilizations. There is no scientific evidence to support the idea of Lemuria as described in esoteric teachings. Even so, the idea is still popular in New Age circles and in popular culture, where it represents ancient wisdom and spiritual heritage. Atlantis. The legendary island civilization of Atlantis is a key topic in esoteric anthropogenesis and occult philosophy. In theosophical teachings, it's linked to the fourth root race, which came after Lemuria. The idea first came up in Plato's dialogues and was developed further by occultists like Helena Blavatsky. Theosophical literature describes Atlantis as an advanced civilization in the Atlantic Ocean. With superior technology and psychic abilities, it's said to have existed for millions of years before being destroyed due to moral decline and the misuse of spiritual powers. The story goes that the destruction was caused by a series of cataclysms, with some Atlanteans surviving to influence other cultures. Esoteric traditions connect Atlantis to a range of mysteries and ancient wisdom. However, there is no scientific evidence to support the idea that it ever existed as described. The idea of a lost Atlantic continent is not supported by modern geology or archaeology. Aryan. In esoteric anthropogenesis, the term Aryan refers to the fifth root race in theosophical teachings. This represents the current stage of human spiritual evolution. It's important to note that this esoteric concept should not be confused with its misuse in racist ideologies. In Theosophy, the Aryan race is thought to have come about after Atlantis was destroyed, marking a new phase in human development. Theosophists believe that the Aryans were more mentally and spiritually advanced than previous root races with greater individuality and intellectual capacity. It is thought that this race originated in Central Asia and then spread around the globe. Esoteric teachings say that the Aryan race is made up of 7 subraces, each developing specific aspects of human potential. The idea is that Aryans are gradually becoming more spiritually aware and capable. Theosophical literature often links this race with the development of modern civilizations and the rise of scientific thinking. It's important to mention that these ideas aren't backed up by scientific evidence and clash with what we know about human evolution and anthropology today. The idea of the Aryan race is still popular in some New Age and occult circles. William Scott Elliott. William Scott Elliott was a well-known theosophist and author who made a big impact on esoteric literature in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. His most notable works, The Story of Atlantis, 1896, and The Lost Lamuria, 1904, were later combined into The Story of Atlantis and The Lost Lamuria. This greatly expanded on theosophical concepts of ancient civilizations and root races. Scott Elliott said he'd accessed the Akashic records and got information from psychic investigations. This detailed the history, geography, and culture of Atlantis and Lamuria. His books gave us lots of details about these lost continents, their inhabitants, and their role in human evolution. He said the Atlanteans were a highly advanced civilization with superior technology and psychic abilities, while the Lemurians were more primitive and physically distinct. Scott Elliott also included maps of these continents and gave us a detailed account of their societal structures and downfall. Even though there's no scientific evidence to back it up, his detailed accounts have had a big impact on how people think about lost civilizations. Scott Elliott's work is still referenced in New Age and occult circles, contributing to the ongoing fascination with Atlantis and Lemuria in esoteric anthropogenesis theories. Man, whence, how, and whither, a record of clairvoyant investigation is a key text in theosophical literature. It was written by Annie Besant and Charles W. Leadbeater in 1913. This book is a pretty detailed account of human evolution from an esoteric perspective. It's based on what the authors said were clairvoyant investigations into the Akashic records. The book goes into great detail about the cosmic history of our universe and how humanity has evolved spiritually through various root races, planetary chains, and cycles. It also gives lots of detailed information about past civilizations like Lemuria and Atlantis, and makes some predictions about what the future holds for us. Besant and Leadbeater talk about how humanity came to be, from spiritual beings to physical form, and how different human races developed. They also look at the role of spiritual hierarchies in guiding human evolution. They also talk about ideas like reincarnation, karma, and the path to spiritual enlightenment. The book was very influential in the theosophical and esoteric circles, but there's no scientific evidence to back up its claims. Even so, it's still a key text on esoteric anthropogenesis, having influenced many New Age and spiritual movements. The Rosicrucian Cosmoconception. The Rosicrucian Cosmoconception is a key text in Rosicrucian philosophy. It was written by Max Heindel and published in 1909. This book gives a detailed esoteric view of the cosmos, human evolution, and spiritual development. The book sets out a pretty complex cosmology, describing how spirit evolves through matter in 7 worlds or planes of existence. It also explains what God is really like, how solar systems evolve, and the spiritual hierarchies that guide cosmic development. Heindel offers a distinctive take on human evolution, outlining past, present, and future stages of development. He also talks about how humanity has progressed through different stages, with each one representing a different level of consciousness and spiritual awakening. The book covers topics like reincarnation, karma, the afterlife, and the path to spiritual initiation. It also looks at how Christianity can be understood in an esoteric way, and how this relates to human spiritual evolution. While it has some things in common with theosophy, the Rosicrucian Cosmoconception is a different kind of esoteric system. It's still a big influence in Rosicrucian circles and has had an impact on various New Age and esoteric movements. Erich von Daniken. Erich von Daniken, born in 1935, is a Swiss author best known for his controversial theories about ancient astronauts and extraterrestrial influences on early human civilization. His 1968 bestseller, Chariots of the Gods, popularized the idea that ancient cultures were shaped by visits from advanced alien beings. Von Daniken interprets ancient texts, artifacts, and archaeological sites as evidence of extraterrestrial contact. He argues that many ancient monuments like the Egyptian pyramids and Nazca lines required technologies beyond human capabilities at the time and must have involved alien assistance. His work suggests that aliens were perceived as gods by ancient humans, influencing religious beliefs and mythologies across cultures. Von Daniken proposes that these extraterrestrial visitors may have genetically engineered or guided human evolution. While hugely popular, his theories are widely rejected by the scientific community as pseudoscience. Critics point out factual errors, misinterpretations of evidence, and lack of scientific rigor in his work. Despite academic criticism, von Daniken's ideas have significantly impacted popular culture, inspiring numerous books, TV shows, and films exploring ancient astronaut theories. The Gods from Outer Space. Erich von Daniken's The Gods from Outer Space is another influential book, published in 1968 as a follow-up to his bestseller Chariots of the Gods. This book builds on his ancient astronaut theory with more arguments and evidence for how extraterrestrials influenced early human civilizations. In this book, von Daniken looks at lots of different ancient texts, artifacts, and archaeological sites from all over the world and suggests that they provide proof of alien visitations. He looks at the Bible, ancient Hindu texts and myths from different cultures, and suggests that they describe encounters with advanced extraterrestrials. Von Daniken suggests that these alien visitors were seen as gods by ancient humans, influencing religious beliefs and cultural practices. He also looks at their technology, including spacecraft and advanced weapons, and how these might have been misinterpreted by primitive societies. The book also looks at the idea that aliens might have genetically manipulated humans, suggesting they may have accelerated human evolution. While it's popular with people who like alternative history, The Gods from Outer Space gets the same scientific criticism as von Daniken's other books. Mainstream academics think it's pseudoscience. Zecharia Sitchin. Zecharia Sitchin was a controversial author known for his ancient astronaut theory, particularly focused on Sumerian mythology. His most famous work, The 12th Planet, was the first in his Earth Chronicles series. Sitchin's main idea was that ancient Sumerian texts talk about an advanced alien race called the Anunnaki, who came from a planet called Nibiru. He suggested that Nibiru has an elongated orbit, bringing it close to Earth every 3,600 years. Sitchin says the Anunnaki came to Earth 450,000 years ago to mine gold. He also said that they created humans through genetic engineering, combining their DNA with that of primitive hominids to act as a slave race for mining operations. Sitchin saw ancient myths as literal accounts of extraterrestrial activity. He even suggested that the Anunnaki were worshipped as gods. He said they gave humans advanced knowledge which helped them make rapid technological progress in the early days of civilization. While Sitchin's theories are popular in alternative circles, mainstream scholars reject them. They criticize his translations and interpretations of ancient texts as inaccurate and speculative. Mao Biglino. Mao Biglino is an Italian author and translator known for his controversial interpretations of ancient religious texts, particularly the Bible. He gained prominence for his unconventional translations of the Old Testament from ancient Hebrew. Biglino claims that his literal translations reveal a different narrative than traditional interpretations. He argues that the Bible, when properly understood, describes interactions between humans and advanced extraterrestrial beings rather than a supreme deity. His work suggests that the Elohim mentioned in Genesis were actually a group of flesh and blood extraterrestrial entities with advanced technology. Biglino proposes that these beings were involved in genetic manipulation of early humans and played a role in guiding human civilization. Biglino's theories often align with ancient astronaut hypotheses, drawing parallels between biblical accounts and alleged extraterrestrial interventions. He challenges traditional religious interpretations and argues for a more technological reading of ancient texts. While popular among alternative history enthusiasts, Biglino's ideas are not accepted by mainstream biblical scholars or scientists. Critics argue that his translations and interpretations lack academic rigor and misrepresent ancient languages and contexts. Borealism. Borealism is a concept in alternative historical theories that suggests the Arctic region, particularly the North Pole, was the original home of human civilization. This idea isn't mainstream yet, but it's gaining traction in some alternative history circles. Those who believe in Borealism say that there were advanced civilizations in the Arctic region at a time when the climate was more temperate. They believed that as the climate changed and became less hospitable, these civilizations migrated southward, sharing their knowledge and influencing the development of known ancient cultures. The theory often draws on other esoteric beliefs, such as the idea of polar shifts or cyclical changes in the Earth's axis. Some people who believe in Borealism also believe in the mythical land of Hyperborea, which is mentioned in Greek mythology. Sometimes Borealism touches on other alternative theories, such as those about Atlantis or ancient advanced civilizations. While some find this concept intriguing, it lacks scientific evidence and is not accepted by mainstream historians or archaeologists. People who aren't convinced by this theory say it doesn't fit with what we know from archaeology and geology about how and when humans first started to migrate. Sacsayhuaman. Sacsayhuaman is an impressive ancient Inca site located near Cusco in Peru. Built in the 15th century, it's famous for its huge stone walls made with blocks that fit together in a really intricate way. Some of them weigh over 100 tons. People still don't agree on what the site was used for. Some think it was a fortress, while others believe it was a ceremonial complex. In the world of mainstream archaeology, Sacsayhuaman is seen as a shining example of Inca engineering and stonework skills. However, it has also become a focal point for alternative theories and pseudo-archaeological speculation. Some people who believe in ancient astronaut theories think that the site was built using technology that was more advanced than the Inca had, and that maybe even extraterrestrials helped. Some people also think it has links with lost ancient civilizations or advanced prehistoric cultures. The way the stones were fitted together and the huge blocks transported has led to various alternative explanations, including the use of lost technologies or supernatural methods. These theories often ignore or dismiss archaeological evidence of Inca construction techniques. While it's fascinating to alternative history enthusiasts, mainstream archaeologists explain Sacsayhuaman's construction through documented Inca engineering methods, including sophisticated stone shaping, transport systems, and large labor forces. The site is still the subject of ongoing archaeological research and is a popular tourist destination. Emanuel Volikovsky. Emanuel Volikovsky was a Russian-American independent scholar who came up with some pretty controversial theories about the history of our planet and ancient civilizations. His most famous work, Worlds in Collision, challenged established scientific views and caused quite a stir. At the heart of Volikovsky's theory was the idea that Earth had had close encounters with other planets, particularly Venus and Mars, on a number of occasions over the course of human history. He said these events caused global catastrophes, including the plagues in the Bible and the parting of the Red Sea. He suggested that Venus was originally thrown out of Jupiter as a comet passing close to Earth around 1500 BCE, which caused global catastrophes. Volikovsky also suggested that Mars had near collisions with Earth, which affected human history and mythology. His work tried to bring together ancient myths, religious texts, and geological evidence with his cosmic catastrophe theory. Volikovsky also said that these events could explain various archaeological and geological anomalies. While some readers were keen on Volikovsky's theories, the scientific community was quick to reject them. People who were critical of his work highlighted a number of scientific inaccuracies and methodological flaws. Even so, his ideas influenced some alternative history and catastrophist theories, and they're still sparking debate in fringe circles.